how many months you can go without getting a client. Once you get a client, what happens? So I would say very comfortably, at least a 6-month budget should be there so that I can have a full sleep night without any tension. Because if you don't have results and a fancy website, nobody cares about. People want to see what was the challenge that people had and how did you or your team overcome that challenge.
Hi, my name is Avi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, then marketer and founder of Internet Moguls.
What up, Internet Moguls?
नमस्कार ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Avi Arya और आज की वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे 20s और 30s में एज अ डिजिटल मार्केटिंग एजेंसी ओनर आप अपने फाइनेंसेस को कैसे प्लान करो. अगर आप अपनी एजेंसी अभी खोलने लगे हो एंड यू डूइंग अ जॉब और आपको लगता है कि मैं जंप कर जाऊं, मेरे पास क्लाइंट्स आ जाएंगे, व्हेन आई जंप इन द पैराशूट विल ओपन, तो प्लीज ऐसा मत कीजिएगा. पैराशूट खोलने में कभी कभी वक्त लगता है और जब वो वक्त होता है वो आपको सही क्लाइंट नहीं लाके देता बिकॉज यू डोंट हैव द मनी, और वो आपकी जो डेस्परेट सिचुएशन है वो क्लाइंट पढ़ लेता है और आपको लो टिकट ऑफर करेगा और आप लो टिकट ले लोगे. उसके बाद लो टिकट के नीचे का जो जर्नी है वो आपको मालूम है. आप आगे टीम की सैलरीज अच्छी नहीं दे पाएंगे, तो सब स्टैंडर्ड टीम मिलेगी आपको, सब स्टैंडर्ड वर्क होगा. एजेंसी कभी टाइम पे आपको पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे क्योंकि क्लाइंट आपके काम से खुश नहीं होगा और आपकी जिंदगी जो आप खुशहाली एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप ढूंढ रहे थे बिल्कुल उल्टा हो जाएगा. सो डोंट डू दैट. डू नॉट स्टार्ट एन एजेंसी विदाउट मनी. Don't think that you're going to jump and the parachute will open. The parachute may not open or may take time to open. Therefore, always have reserve funds with you. How much for a business? I would say make your calculations on how many clients you're going to get. How many months you can go without getting a client. Once you get a client, what happens? What are the expenses? Because the client is going to pay you in 2 to 3 months' time. During that time, you will have electricity, you will have your office rent, you will have your internet, you will have your team, you will have your Facebook ads, all of those spends to be able to market yourself and to be able to then get customers. So I would say very comfortably, at least a 6-month budget should be there so that I can have a full sleep night without any tension and be able to work and focus on delivering best value. See, what happens is, जब ये चीजें नहीं होती ना, तो हम काम के बदले बाकी सारी चीजों पे फोकस कर रहे होते हैं. काम तो कौन करता है, बाकी सारी चीजों पे फोकस कर रहा होता है. कैश कैसे आएगा, कैश कैसे जाएगा, कितने पैसे, कितनी सैलरी, कब, क्या, ये वो, और हम वैल्यू नहीं दे पाते. तो वैल्यू की तरफ फोकस कीजिए. द सेकंड थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू, अगर आप जॉब कर रहे हैं, फैंटास्टिक, जॉब मत छोड़िए, बात कीजिए. अगर आप जॉब करते करते कोई चीज साइड पे कर सकते हैं वीकेंड पे और धीरे धीरे करके अपनी एजेंसी खोले, वहां से आप आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. बिकॉज अगर आपने जॉब छोड़ दिया, अगेन आप उस सिचुएशन में हो जाओगे वेयर यू विल हैव नो मनी and then you will make all the wrong decisions. Thirdly, while you're doing a job, you must plan a 3 to 5 year trip down whichever agency you're working in, because I want you to be able to work in every department. I want you to be able to work in the departments that you like, and some maybe you don't like so much, but just to understand how this whole model works. How does the pricing happen? How are values created? What are the sales people talking about? How does operation work differently from sales? Why is it that there is always collections team is always under stress trying to get payments out? Well, you must understand all the workings of the business before you start planning your own financial activity as a digital marketer. Next point. Yes, you can work with a colleague. Yes, if you have a colleague who's putting in the money, can be made into a partner. Yes, but let me tell you one thing. A lot of people borrow money from the bank thinking from the first or second month they're going to start getting revenue. That may not happen. And so therefore, don't borrow money with a pressure that you have to return it the very next month. Like I said, the first 6 months, you should have absolutely no pressure. Next point. Is it okay to have 3-4 multiple streams while running an agency? Absolutely. You can be a freelancer taking some projects. You can be working in an agency, depending on if your agency allows you to be able to do multiple roles. Most agencies don't because they want you to have dedicated focus, and I understand that. But if you're working part-time in an agency, part-time as a freelancer, then you have different multiple options as well. Do not rush into investing time and money building a website. Instead, build a portfolio of work that has got proven results. Because if you don't have results and a fancy website, nobody cares about. People want to see what was the challenge that people had and how did you or your team overcome that challenge. So remember one thing, do not invest in things which are not going to give you direct revenue, especially when you're starting out. You can have a LinkedIn page, you can have a Facebook page, you can have an Instagram profile. And I don't think anybody needs to look at your website to be able to see if you need the work or not. A conversation with you for 15 minutes will tell the client clearly if you're the right candidate for the work that he's looking for. A lot of people start making money in the agency world and then they don't know where to invest. See, number one thing is to invest is as an agency. I would say pay yourself. Because if you don't pay yourself, you're not getting any profit from the company and you don't know if the company is working or not. Pay yourself. Pay your team. Pay your vendors. Have systems. If you have a credit policy from a client who's paying you after 2 months, after your salary, your vendors and partners need to understand that your payments will come after 2 months. The cash flow cycle has to be explained. If your vendor is looking for a payment upfront or at the end of 1 month and you're getting money after 2 months, you will have money stuck in the market. You have to have that conversation with that vendor partner, just the way that your client had with you as a vendor partner. Salaries, of course, need to be paid in time and all the other compliances and everything. The difference between the time that you get the money from the client versus the payout time, if that is more than 15 to 30 days, you will find that you have no money in the bank, you have lots of money in the books, and that's where most entrepreneurs get confused. I called up my chartered accountant, he says I would take 50 lakhs from the bank, from the market, but I have 5 lakhs in the bank and I have 15 lakhs to pay for salaries. What should I do? This is cash flow management at its worst. You need to understand and plan your cash flow at least 120 days ahead of time. What are your number of clients? What are the verbal and written communication with them on the payments that they're going to give? On what time? What are the verbal and written commitments with your partners and your teams? What is coming in versus what is going out? See, what's going out is fixed. What's coming out is still tentative. That is where your reserve fund comes in. I don't advise you to start pulling out of the reserve fund at the drop of a hat. Your number one, the strictest priority, the strictest KRA from your team should be to be able to get the money on time. You as the agency owner will decide the terms, and then your team will make sure that those monies are coming on time. Because if there's that gap, you will be making money, but you will have no money to even buy an ice cream because that money is not with you in the bank. So therefore, work out this cash flow situation. There comes a time when your team builds up, your profitability builds up, your cash flow is good. And that's when you start saving. Not in an FD, but I suggest stocks. Why? Because just as you trust your own company, the fact that you can take it to the next level, there are some amazing companies in the world who have amazing teams and management and customers, and they're working relentlessly, spending millions and billions of dollars. I think if you can bet on yourself, it's a good idea to bet on some of these companies. Which are these companies? I'm not the best person to tell you. There are many experts in the market who I feel you should consult with. And if you're somebody who's making money, you're making money because somebody is looking for an expert like you, because they pay you and you do their work. So don't half-ass it. Don't be cheap. Like my friend Sid says, don't be cheap on your way to greatness. Spend money. Speak to a financial planner. Invest long-term in those big stocks. Now, what happens when you invest? You invest long-term, and the stock goes up and down. Like right now, it's all crashed. But does not matter, because that is not the cash money that you need to run your house or your agency. Don't make that mistake. I'll put this money in my stocks, and tomorrow when I need it, I'll take it from here. If the stocks go down, that money is 40-50% down as of right now. That money, if you take it out, you're going to come back at a 50% discount. Don't make that mistake. Put in the money that you know you can leave aside for 5 to 10 to 15 years, because you want compounding to kick in and big money to happen with that money. So whatever is your household or agency expense, that has to be separate. And this is your saving. This is separate. And this is a fatal mistake that many people make by doing one in account, which is invested, and that also is your emergency fund. Your investments are long-term and they're not your emergency fund. Next, about buying a house. There are many emotional and practical decisions out there around buying homes. Homes are bought by different formulae. There are places in the world where you can put 10 to 20% down and mortgage the house so that it pays for your installment. It means if you're buying a $1 million home, you pay only $200,000 plus the closing fee, plus the lawyer's fee, plus all of that. So say $250,000, and 750 is lent to you by the bank, and that 750 is an installment with a 1.5% interest of approximately $3,500 to $4,000, and the bank pays the mortgage. Your tenant pays for that. So if it's a rentable property, then you paid 25%, and if somebody else is paying off your mortgage for the next 20 years. Remember, when you buy a house like this, you have no cash, no positive cash flow, or less positive cash flow. So it's not really changing your life, but it's helping you make wealth for the long term. So you still need to be working in your agency full time, because having multiple assets does not mean that your lifestyle changes. You don't have more surplus cash. In fact, if your property needs renovation or has demand or something breaks down, that's when you need to put in from your existing cash flow into the property that you bought. So properties may need to be taken care of from time to time. Also, when the tenant leaves, from the time he leaves to the time you find your new tenant, you will have a problem, and you will have to balance that gap by putting money yourself. So always know that if you've rented, maybe even if you have 12 months rental, count it as 9 months. Have that buffer money with you. A lot of us as agency owners get in the hurry of buying properties, buying stocks and everything comes into one pool. Your stocks should be a separate pool and long term, not to be touched. Your 6 months savings, the way you're putting money to be able to take care of yourself and your family, don't risk that, because that's what's going to give you and your spouse a good night's sleep when everything around you may crash down. Like stocks are down, everything, real estate is down, and you can't touch it because you don't want to sell it at a loss. You will still not have a problem, because 6 months to think and for the market to start turning around and for you to be able to make a better judicious decision. So all these things take time. And therefore, when you read a book to make $1 million in a year or close a deal and get settled, all of you people who are in your 15s, 20s, 30s, 40s, everybody who's wanting to run an agency, let me tell you, no business on this planet is a short-term game. Give it at least 10 years for all of these things to start happening. I don't know if you're looking at this video, which stage of entrepreneurship, which stage of success, which stage of money, which stage of saving or investment you're at. Don't worry. Yes, they say saving at the right time is good. If you save at a young age, you have more headway for the compounding to kick in. But let me tell you one thing. If you do not have all your buckets ready, if you don't have your contingency fund, you start saving, who'll take care of your agency? Remember, the agency is a new being. It needs all the funding, all the love, all the investments at the right time. The right team member, if you find somebody who's charging you extra money and you want to pay that salary because you want that resource, that is a great investment first to be done. If you have the right computer softwares to be able to do editing and video production so that you can get more work from the market, that is the right investment to do. So remember, you will need investment funds for the agency as well. So keep all of these things in mind. Watch this video once again, create your own chart, and make sure that you and your spouse, you and your family know there's a long-term 10-year game, and whatever is happening is being saved, is being invested, is being reinvested. Because buying a car right away, buying fancy shoes and all of that is a lot of fun. But when things go south, जब समय अच्छा नहीं चल रहा होता, जब वक्त फाइनेंशियली अच्छा नहीं चल रहा होता, तो ये घर पे खड़ी गाड़ी और आपके जूते और ये सब चीजें जो है ना, ये बिल्कुल मदद नहीं कर पाती. So good money invested that can be taken out when you need it is what's going to give you a good night's sleep. So I hope you like this video. Many more agency videos will be coming for all of you people. And if you like this, you want to hear more about, I've got a very nice automated webinar that I've created. If you're in the flow of things and you don't want to stop, you want to continue with the webinar, then click on the link and go in for this webinar. It's absolutely free. It's a webinar, and you'll enjoy it. I look forward to seeing you there. Take care of yourselves. The link is over here. Continue this journey on that webinar. I'm sure you're going to have fun. Take care of yourself, and wish you happy financial planning for your agency business. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.